Welcome to Public Comment. I'm John Dunbar, former mayor of Yountville.
And I'm Alfredo Pedroza, farmer.
I'm Cara Mae Wooledge, Executive Director of Napa Farmers Market.
Thank you for joining us as we talk about politics, people, and whatever else Cara Mae wants to.
I'm hungry now.
That sounds great.
Farmers market.
The destination for locals.
Perception that the farmers market is just for those that have means.
So you really want to build a 4 or 5 story parking garage?
We are an essential food business. We are an access point.
Right. I don't know what the city's plans are. Maybe they have a master plan or not.
Oh, now the squeaking is a little loud right now.
Well, I know that makes you a little nervous because you like to be everything needs to be perfect for you, John. This is a construction zone.
I can't hear you.
That's your old age, John.
I can't hear you.
It's not the Caterpillar. That's a DA. I'm very well versed with this type of machinery, John, as a farmer. John, I'm going to tee you up on this one for disclosures. Some say I'm good with words. But, we had an incredible group of golfers here for the PGA Tour, the Pro Tour tournament. Did you go?
Of course I went.
Shocking. What did you think, man?
It was so impressive. It really was. To have 10 of the 12 Team USA Ryder Cup players, including some of the highest ranked players in the world, and to see here at our local golf tournament, the number 1 player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, win the tournament in dramatic fashion. I mean, it couldn't really get any more entertaining than that.
Well, and it's one of those things where, I didn't go. We had sports with our kids, but we were watching the on TV, and we turned it on to the golf channel. And my kid's like, Dad, that's what we drive by. I was like, yeah, that's in our backyard. And you can't take that for granted, John. And to hear the commenters talk about how beautiful Napa is, small wineries are the owners. They had a script that was spot on. Whoever did that, thank you. But that's our backyard. That's our home.
Yeah, the imagery was awesome. I was actually fast forwarding some of the rounds to see as they were going to commercial break and back, because that's when they were highlighting the Napa Valley. Beautiful drone footage of the vineyards and just the natural beauty of Napa Valley. And it was also interesting to hear the on-course interviews of the golfers, many of whom have never come to Napa Valley, that said they were impressed at how beautiful it is, and they were really here to enjoy the experience.
And to me, we're fortunate enough to call this home, John, every day.
What I will say also is when they hit the ball, it doesn't sound like when you and I hit the ball.
No, I would disagree. It sounds like that. I hit those straight shots all the time. They were in the sand, in the bunkers a couple of times. I don't know what that's like, but I know you do.
I'm very familiar. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome, Cara Mae. It's great to have you here. I know that Alfredo and I have enjoyed the farmers market downtown Napa.
Me more than you.
Many, many times. Well, you are a farmer after all. I'm a consumer.
I feel very at home at the farmers market, John.
I'm glad to be talking to Cara Mae today.
We're fellow farmers.
But if you could just tell us a little bit about your background and also how you became to be the executive director of the Napa Farmers Market.
Sure. I'd love it. My favorite subject is Napa Farmers Market. So most people, I think, around town know me now as the face of Napa Farmers Market. Folks actually don't know. Alfredo and I actually worked together for quite some time at Napa County Public Health. Well, I was in the public health division. You were in the CEOs.
I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly.
The third room, the board chambers.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
And so that job is actually what brought me here in 2007. So when I moved here in 2007, I had just recently graduated from UCLA with my master's in public health and community health science. I'm born and raised in Stockton, California, and I did what I normally did after graduating or finding my next step was I moved home to Stockton to look around and see.
It's a pretty big ag community though, right, Cara Mae, in Stockton?
It is.
Yeah.
I did not grow up thinking I would be a public health professional nor a farmer's market manager. I actually went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo for my undergrad to get my degree in political science because people told me I would be a good lawyer. And I realized as an adult, they say that to children who are jerks and like to argue all the time.
Right.
My kids.
Yeah. You got a bunch of lawyers in your house.
No.
Yeah. So what I did, though, is I worked for an attorney after I graduated in Cal Poly, and I did not like the work at all. It was very interesting. I was doing legal clerk paperwork, and it was for a family law attorney, but I realized I would have to be working with other attorneys for the rest of my life and arguing for the rest of my life as a job. So I thought that wasn't really the way I wanted to go. And I had a life-changing conversation with a professor from Cal Poly. She was a young woman professor. And I said, I really want to go to grad school. And she's like, for what? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, that's not how grad school works. You can't be undeclared in grad school. I was like, oh. So she recommended that I do a year in AmeriCorps. And I did a year of service in San Luis Obispo County with youth on probation. So I was actually a mentor to youth on probation. And that's what really introduced me into the amazing world of social community health services. And after I finished that year, it's the pattern. I moved back home to Stockton. I looked around for jobs. And actually, the job that I took was with CommuniCare in Yolo County, which is now merged with Ole Health, CommuniCare Ole. I used to describe CommuniCare as the Ole Health of Napa or of Yolo County. So
look at that.
Indeed.
Foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a sexual health educator for a year at CommuniCare. So I went into high schools. I taught sex ed. And then in the clinical side, the students would come into our clinics and receive services for sexual health. And that is what really inspired me. That was my introduction into public health. I thought it was an amazing opportunity. And so that's what inspired me to apply for my master's at UCLA.
And I think that would be such a cool podcast because one of the things John and I, we've been talking about, we haven't had someone talk about like public health.
Yeah.
Right. And sex ed is part of it. And I think not that that's where we're going to go today, but I'm glad you said that because it reinforces kind of what we've been talking around public health, John, and doing something in that.
We recognize that we're not the experts. So we want to hear the perspective of the people like you that have been in it as a career, but also as a passion project that I'm sure you have experienced a lot and learned a lot about people and their lives and their experiences and how you manage them. And so that would be a full
parking lot
conversation.
Well, I got news for you.
Yeah.
I'm actually the board chair of a new nonprofit called the Sex Ed Justice Project. So we will put a pin in that, and I can definitely make a recommendation.
Breaking news right here on Public Comment.
So let's go back to the topic at hand, though. So, farmers market, and I think a lot of people see them, but, how did it happen? How are they organized? Like, how is it funded? So give us a little bit about the background on the Napa's Farmers Market.
So the Napa Farmers Market, we are a community treasure. We are open to all. And I think we are very misunderstood by our community, but we're well trafficked and well loved. So I really do appreciate the opportunity to talk about that. So in California, we have laws that are set by the California Department of Food and Agriculture. And we are a California certified farmers market. And what that means is that all of the farmers that sell at our market are growing what they sell. So there's a whole process where they get certified through their local county agriculture office.
Those farmers have to, the ones that are selling?
Correct.
Cool.
Yes. And in order to be a California certified farmers market, you either have to be a farmer production organization, a governmental organization, or a nonprofit organization. So we are, the Napa Farmers Market, are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we run the Napa Farmers Market on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 8 to noon.
Year round.
Saturdays year round.
Yes.
Tuesdays almost year round. Tuesdays are open April through December. And primarily we are funded by the stall fees that vendors pay to be at the market. And we keep those as low as possible while covering most of our costs because we know that, first of all, we are nothing without our farmers.
Totally.
And small farming is hard work.
You should acknowledge that.
Especially
the hardworking farmers. Yes.
Especially fruit and vegetable farming,
I agree.
So we want to make sure that our small farmers.
Let's consume some of the fruit from our.
Cheers to them.
Yeah.
To all the farmers. Look, we have family in Salinas Valley. And to see, again, our farmers work hard, but to see those in produce, cauliflower, tomatoes.
The margins are a little different.
Yeah. But the hard work, though, came right to your point.
Yeah.
It's incredible, right? Like that's real work. So,
well, and to that point, what are your requirements to have farmers a certain distance, proximity to be local? They have to kind of vet themselves with you to make sure that they can be held accountable for farm to stall
Sure,
and
exactly.
all of those things.
So in the great state of California, we can welcome any California certified farmers market, or there is actually a distance of for farmers markets like in Humboldt or in other places closer to the border. There's a distance of 500 miles is how long that it would be to be considered local. And so I know that sounds like a really long way, but our average farm to market distance is about 57 miles.
Wow.
And if you look at the average distance that food travels to get to your plate in the US, it's about 1,500 miles. So it's a huge, huge difference.
Very fresh.
Very fresh.
And seasonal.
And seasonal,
local,
exactly.
And we love the samples. My
Yes.
kids do.
Yes.
Quality control.
But to go back to your point
Yeah.
about how we're funded,
Yeah.
this is definitely something I want to share more widely
Totally.
with the community is that so we receive the majority of our operating funds from our stall fees that vendors pay to be at the market. And we do not receive significant funding from other sources. We're not funded by the city. We're not funded by the county. We do apply for grants and other, fund that is available. But currently, one of our biggest opportunities for the folks to support us is our Friends of the Market campaign. And that's held every summer. We run a campaign, and basically the money that we raise at the Friends of the Market campaign supports our operating costs, because it keeps our costs low, so to our farmers and vendors, and it also allows us to provide the high quality of service that we have at the market.
So what's your total budget, Cara Mae?
Our total budget is
ballpark.
just around $500,000 for the year. The funniest question that I get from folks is, well, you're only open Tuesdays and Saturdays. What do you do for the rest of the week? So actually, we have 3 full-time employees that are running the market. And then there's 5 part-time employees that come in just on market days to set up and break down. Because, we start from ground zero. We start from nothing. There's, an empty parking lot.
It's literally an empty parking lot.
Sometimes there's some parked cars there. That's a whole other conversation. But, we have to pop tents. Not all of the tents. The farmers and vendors are responsible for their own. But in addition to all of the things that you see when you go as a shopper, as a customer, one of our biggest mission is to ensure the equitable access to local food. So we are committed to providing food assistance and food access programs. The biggest program that we have is our CalFresh Market Match program. So folks know CalFresh. It's called SNAP at the federal level. It's called CalFresh in California. Some folks know it as food stamps.
Yeah.
What we do is we actually double those CalFresh dollars to be spent on fruits and vegetables, so that folks that have CalFresh can come to our market and double their food budgets. It's a nutrition incentive program because the matching dollars can be spent only on fruits and vegetables. So that's filling their plates with fruits and veggies. And the majority of those funds are being spent at the farmers' tents. So it's an increased income for farmers as well.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win all around. And last year we matched just over $75,000. And this year we are actually seeing a huge increase that was not anticipated. We've seen a 23% increase in usage of our program. And I believe that is because folks know about it. And it's also just an opportunity for them to stretch their food budgets.
Is there still a stigma though, Cara Mae, if someone's paying with a food cent voucher or something like that, or has that kind of been
I think we've done pretty good work to minimize that. So we have a lot of what we call funny money at the market. We also have something called market bucks. So for the regular customer, this is something you don't know. We at the market, we don't tell the farmers or vendors how to run their business. So you'll notice that some only accept cash, some accept Venmo, some accept all forms of payment. So if you're ever out of cash at the market, you can come to the info booth and use your credit card or debit card to purchase what we call market bucks. And this is basically gift certificates, $5 increments that you can use to spend. So we have something like that looks very similar to what the CalFresh vouchers look like. So there's really no difference in terms of what, it could be a market buck, which anyone can use. It could be a CalFresh market match.
The reason I was asking that question, because to me, culturally, the fact that we're 38% Latino in Napa, and the way of life for someone that, I'm just going to speak for Mexico for a second, because that's what I have experience in. That farmer's market's a very conducive way of life for a lot of folks in Mexico. because that's how they grew up, right? It's called the tianguis. You live, you go.
Yeah.
But it was that freshness. And I was always curious of how can we do a better job of penetrating within the Latino community, because it does lead to healthier outcomes,
That's
right?
right.
But there was always this perception that the farmer's market is just for those that have means
Exactly.
or for a specific type of people. And the times I've gone, it's super diverse. And I love that. And that's what I was asking about stigma, because I think whether it's been intentional or not, the profile of folks there is very representative of the community.
Thank you.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll call it out. We in the industry, the farmers market industry, know that farmers markets have typically been white spaces.
Yes.
They've been for more affluent, they've been older, and for people, for folks that are white. And we've really tried to break down that stigma, because we want everyone to feel welcome at the Napa Farmers Market. And I think being located downtown and having such a great visibility for folks to kind of see what's going on, just to feel like, oh, I can just walk on in there and see what's up. I mean, it really is, to me, one of the only third places in Napa where all folks are welcome, and you've got tourists and you've got locals, you've got Top Chefs and you've got CalFresh customers, and everyone can have the same experience.
How do you kind of diversify your vendors, or do you kind of accept everyone that you can have space for? I mean, different types of produce, vegetables, fruits, what have you. You've got coffee, you've got fresh meats. How do you kind of put all that balance together?
Sure. So we are a farmers market, so we always prioritize farmers. However, farmers are the hardest to recruit and retain to our market, because small farming is very hard. There's already a lot of small farms have their set schedule. And I don't know if you know this, but we mostly grow wine grapes here in Napa County. So
it's an emerging market.
So most of our farmers are driving in from Yolo County, Sonoma County, from the Central Valley, from the Salinas Valley. We do have Napa County farmers as well, of course, and we'd welcome them. So we always prioritize farmers, and whenever we get an application from a farmer or try to recruit a farmer, it's very exciting to us, but it is the most difficult one to fill. And then we have two other types of vendors. We have specialty food and we have artisan vendors. We prioritize specialty food vendors that are here local in Napa. And also we do allow for some artisan vendors, those artisan craft, things like earrings, things like necklaces, because we like to offer a variety of things and also give opportunities for small businesses that don't have a storefront.
On that front, I think one of the things you're doing with the shaved ice, by the way, I think is awesome because it brings kids. But I say that because I actually do think it's good to have young families go.
Yes.
And expose them to a life way.
Exactly.
Right? This way of life of going to farmers market, eating fresh fruit. I think the more that you can do that, the better.
Exactly.
Right. And I think this is a family's friendly activity. So I think you have that area there. I remember Brad Wagon Connect would go read there religiously.
Yeah.
And that was fun. So I think finding ways to integrate more family activities, I think that would be something cool to continue to see. And
definitely. On. Well, one thing we always want to see families at the market. We do have partnership with Blue Oak School. They run the education station on Saturdays, and Community Resources for Children does it on Tuesdays. The one thing that I could ask parents and families to commit to is to help get their kids out of bed in the morning. There's been talk of, what about an evening farmers market? We actually did participate in the First Thursdays market for a little bit with certified farmers. The problem is farmers do not make money at evening events, no matter how much people say, I want to go to a farmer's market. Let's have a farmer's market at night. What they're really looking for is an evening activity and with music and food and drinks and which is totally fine. Like I think there's definitely a need for that, focusing on our locals. So having families be able to, and anyone that's shopping or prioritizing shopping at the market, realizing the reason that we're open from 8 to noon is because that is when farmers make money. Yeah. And also without a permanent structure, we have a lot of setup and tear down. And let me tell you, it gets really, really hot out there in between 1 and 2 p.m. So if we even extend the hours even a little bit, it's going to have a big impact on what, the tear down and breakdown looks like of the market.
Well, I know we were trying for a while to figure out if it could be over at the Napa Expo.
Yes.
And there are just too many, scheduling conflicts.
Yes.
Basically, it boils down to that.
That's right.
It would have been nice. You'd have opportunities to have grass areas and things like that. There might be a solution, but I think it's a really good thing to have downtown, like you were referencing, if it's accessible to vehicles. That's
Yes.
one of the key things for the farmers. It's accessible, very walkable. There's
Yeah.
a lot of parking on the side streets and everything. So
And public transportation,
and yeah, bikes,
the Vine
everything.
Trail, everything.
And it's a beautiful setting on the river.
That's right.
And so it's got almost like every box
Check.
checked.
Yeah.
I've always been incredibly impressed by not only the quality of the produce, because it's all fresh, it's all great, but the selections that you can't not find something.
Right.
Really. I mean, you have to really get obscure to not have something available.
Or look for something off season.
Well, true. Yeah. Why can't I get artichokes into,
Yeah.
But I remember also going to the Calistoga market and seeing strawberry vendor from Watsonville
Mhm.
and talking to him. It's like, yeah, it's a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
To get there.
That's
Yeah.
generous.
You're there for 5 hours and then you're driving back.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really do need to respect the impact on the farmer,
Mm-hmm.
not just the convenience of the person that wants to go out and have an evening stroll and,
Right.
and enjoy some live music
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
So, I give a lot of praise to you and your team, but also to the farmers who, yes, this is a way that they can sell their products.
Yeah.
But there's so much effort that goes into that I hope people really appreciate. And I frankly don't see that showing up in a higher price either. If they're not, you're getting the great quality for a very reasonable price, in my opinion.
Agree. And it's reflective of the true labor that goes into that. But back to the location.
Yeah, that's what
wanna-
that's where I thought you were going. It's like, is this a permanent home or not?
Let's
'Cause you
go
love
there.
it. Yeah,
Let's go
'cause
there.
It seemed like it fit all these boxes, John. So
Well, we know
So-
it's a city-owned parking lot.
Partially.
Partially,
So,
the
yes.
old, the
I
old,
like partially.
the
Partially.
old, the
It-
old movie theater.
Yeah. So if you can believe it, we have been in the West Street or the Napa Farmers Market parking lot, as it has been renamed by some, since June
By
of,
you.
of 2020. And
Wow.
so we celebrated 5 years there, and we
And
mo-
is it 40 years now total?
so the market will be turning 40 next year.
Next year, right.
So
Sounds
we're
like a big
39.
fundraiser. I don't know. Just comes to mind.
Yes.
But,
They've been
Stay
doing that.
tuned.
You've
Stay
been doing
tuned.
but go ahead. Yeah.
And so currently we have a licensing agreement with the city for use of the location, which is in place and it rolls over every year. However, we are held to a 90-day eviction clause because the city is also held to a 90-day eviction clause because a part of that is still owned by the SciWest company that used to own the Cinedome. And that parking lot is part of a larger development block, which is called the Cinedome Master Plan, if you can remember that. And actually, to say that it's complicated, I think is an understatement in terms of looking at, because it also includes the piece of property across the street that has the Napa Sanitation District building in it and the city park. So currently there are no current plans in terms of what that is going to be developed into. My dream is that we at the city and our community will come together and say that this is where the Napa Farmers Market really should be. This is what makes sense for our community. We since being in downtown Napa, we have seen our customer counts increase something crazy like 130%.
Wow. Do you have any numbers like on how many people are going?
Yes. So we have wonderful volunteers that are positioned around the entrances. So we serve about 166,000 customer visits every year. That's repeat. And about 75% of those are Napa locals. So we truly are serving people that live in Napa. We love tourists. We love visitors, but they're not coming and buying kale and potatoes.
Nor is John.
Just kidding. You bought a bunch of tomatoes.
Yeah, well, we're about to. We're getting 60 pounds, and Cara Mae put us in touch with a vendor to
it
give
was
him a heads
Fernando
up.
Jefe,
Yeah,
El Farmer.
because we're doing some tomato canning while jarring.
All right.
And so, we were like, we want to go there and support. And our thought was, well, we don't want to like buy up all your tomatoes. Like, why not?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
the point.
Okay.
But I know the city of Napa also has been looking at all of their parking lots and other open spaces that they own,
Yeah.
even some that they don't own, for future development, either for parking structures
Correct.
or other uses.
Yeah.
I know that's a concern, that it's like, do you really want to build a 4 or 5 story parking garage right here where we're doing the farmer's market?
Right.
Can we avoid that possibly? And also, if there are other opportunities, the biggest concentration, I think, of visitors would be for downtown. It wouldn't be as available if you were up valley anywhere else,
Right.
even a different part of the city of Napa.
Even when we were down at the current movie theater, people will say, "Oh, it's too far for me to drive." I mean, those are Napans for you, but that is what I hope my legacy is for this community, is that we galvanize the community to work together to create a permanent place for Napa Farmers Market in downtown Napa. And a little behind the scenes. So I've been with the Napa Farmers Market for coming on 8 years. And I started as the assistant manager. And then in December of 2023, the board created the first executive director position for the market and appointed me as the executive director.
Awesome.
So that is my role. And it brings me so much joy because I feel like I'm in alignment with my purpose and my ability to really help. I would love to change the face of food and wine in Napa to include the farmers market, because we are so much about farming, about wine. We're about, these delicious restaurants that people come and visit us. And having a thriving farmers market in the city center is another hallmark for a destination. And it's also the destination for locals, because that's like primarily where the locals are going to get food.
There's no better, I think, experience than seeing local chefs down there buying produce that they want to use for their restaurants.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of that happen, and the nutritional value. And this is a guy who did not eat all his vegetables growing up or as an adult, but you learn what it's supposed to taste like.
Right.
You learn about the nutritional value. You were talking earlier about making sure that families were able to get healthy, nutritious, fresh food
and
round.
inspire the next generation of farmers market shoppers.
I'm very interested in that, John. Chefs can go buy produce wherever they want.
But it validates
it's
the
a
quality that is there,
that
they respect and honor those farmers as well. That's what I'm talking about.
I think one of the things, going back, and John, maybe we can provide some advice, because, what I've seen, Cara Mae, is you don't want to wait for something to be on your plate and then react.
Correct.
Right. So if this is part of this vision that you have, I think doing some of the storytelling now.
Yes.
Right. Going to council meetings, not with a pitch, but of saying, hey, here's what we're doing. Right. Tell the story. Going to the board of supervisors and telling the story. Right. Because you don't know and I don't know. Right. I don't know what the city's plans are. And maybe they have a master plan or not. And sometimes they wait until the very end to tell you.
I'm pretty sure that nobody knows what's going on with that.
Sometimes I don't think they know what's going on, period. Yeah. That's me. That's my own statement. But I do think you got to celebrate this, right? Because this is such a good thing for our community, right? Not to dismiss chefs, because I do think, John, chefs going there is a validator. It shows that they value the experience.
Chefs are part of our community.
Yeah. Too, I'm not saying they're not, but when they can buy food wherever they can, power to them. To me, it's the families, right? Like the families and those validators, because they're invested here. They're part of it. It's part of this way of life. And you have that here, right? And to me, how do you hold that? Because you have magic in the bottle, right? You have you create this magical marketplace. So I think going out and telling that story to others is critical. And that's why I would encourage you.
Well, you'll be happy to know we do have a location committee. So I do have a wonderful board of directors with really talented and engaged folks. And we are creating a coalition of the willing. That's someone, Jerry Hansen, just attended our last meeting. And
we like her a lot.
We do. And, to looking at the business side of this as well, we have over, I believe it's 67 different Napa-based businesses that operate at the Napa Farmers Market. I mean, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
It's, and so it's, like you said, capturing the storytelling and the vision and creating something that folks can actually look at. And other examples I would encourage, if folks are curious, look at the Davis Farmers Market in Davis. They have a permanent structure. And currently AIM, which is the Agricultural Institute of Marin, which is a funny acronym, but they run farmers markets across the Bay Area, and they are working to create the a center for agriculture near the Frank Lloyd Wright County property in Marin. So it's being done now. They're going super big. We would just but we can use their example as something that what it might look like now to build a permanent structure and have that space.
So one thought that pops into my head, and this maybe goes a little against what I was just saying about downtown being the ideal location, but if you could find a space that is truly permanent, that you can make it so that it's easier to set up and break down, easy access. I mean, the city of Napa is about to buy Harvest Middle School, and there are already structures, there are already recreational facilities on that property that maybe that's an opportunity that hasn't existed because it was a campus.
The infrastructure's there.
Now it is potentially because the city has committed to providing community assets.
Well, they're paying $25 million, John.
They're getting $22 million a year now in a sales tax. So, I think that there are a lot of folks that have come to really better appreciate the fact that we have this market here. I mean, we are an agricultural destination around, globally. So we should really be showcasing this, and it should be a destination, not just if it's an afterthought for some people that are like, oh, what do you want to do Saturday morning? Well, let's just wander down to the farmer's market. This should really, it's about getting awareness and appreciation, even beyond what you've already done, which is clearly significant. I remember, it's probably not coincidence that you were named the executive director after the COVID years, and people were still wanting and needing fresh, nutritional food, and the market was able to provide that.
Yeah.
And
thanks to my experience at Napa County.
Right. You kind of did merge those things, didn't you?
Because that's a backstory is that my role as a health education specialist, 50% of my funding was actually from pandemic emergency preparedness and response. So I had spent a decade pretending or responding to real emergencies and learned something I still love, the incident command system, which is what we use to organize and respond. And so, when the pandemic hit in March 2020, it was like, okay, well, I guess it was like running a simulation, but in real life. And my designated role was farmers market manager. And I had connection to Dr. Karen Reluccio, our former health officer. And, she called me and said, hey, could you limit the number of people in the market? We really want you to stay open, but we're worried about the crowds congregating. And I was like, sure, Dr. Reluccio. And I had no idea how we were going to do it. And I have said, of course. And then if you attended during the pandemic, it was like we were like a club. We had the tape around, we had 2 in, 2 out, and that actually was a huge shift in the community's perspective of what we are as a market. We are an essential food business. We are an access point. And not just a sort of optional luxury lifestyle thing. So for that, the pandemic was actually really good for us in that sense. I mean, it was obviously caused a lot of chaos otherwise, but definitely it has. And then being able to move to where we are in downtown Napa, which was actually our backup plan for the expo when we were going to have to relocate for the Bottle Rock time. So it's all just kind of working out. And the short story is there are no immediate plans to develop anything where we are located. And I think we all know how fast things move around here.
There's a project outside of this building. They're moving light speed.
So,
well, that one is.
Yeah.
But you alluded to a funding campaign.
Yes.
So before we wrap up here, let's not keep that quiet. Tell us about how people can support not only today, but the future plans for the farmers market.
Sure. So support, the first thing I want folks to do is if you haven't yet, come shop with us, and shop every week. So our summer campaign, which happens annually every year, is Friends of the Market. That goes to our operating fund. But since this podcast is going to drop now, I want to give
You're going to go huge.
I want to give a preview. We will be part of the Can Do Give Guide. And our fundraising that we do in November and December directly supports our food assistance programs. And right now we're actually in an urgent situation because we had under budgeted for what growth we were going to see in folks utilizing our program. And right now, the funding landscape is very, very strange for nonprofits.
It's challenging.
It's challenging.
More than
So stay tuned for us. We will be in the Give Guide, and all of your dollars support our food assistance programs.
That's awesome. I mean, that really does tie in the whole community connection to it also. And that then breeds more awareness and
That's right.
breeds more
Well,
support.
and it's a win-win. Again, healthier lifestyle. You're also helping farmers be employed.
Well, we have over a dozen food safety net programs in the Valley. And you are one of the ones that's actually providing that nutritional food for all of those folks that are challenged with food security.
That's right.
I know that Hands Across the Valley has now become one of the grant suppliers for you, which is excellent. And there are others, but we have a lot of very generous people in this valley, and we want to make sure that
they got to step up, John.
They recognize the
Call
importance
me.
of this.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
You heard it, Napa. Step up, help the farmers market.
And we appreciate this is that we're recording this on a Monday afternoon, and you've got a full day tomorrow. Early.
Always.
So wrap it up, John.
Yeah. But thank you for coming here and shedding a little bit more light on what you and the Napa Farmers Market team are doing for our community. And
You're welcome.
we really appreciate all that you're doing. I'm looking forward to picking up those 60 pounds of tomatoes.
From Fernando.
Next weekend. And I'm sure we'll get a few other things as well.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
Thank you,
Thank
Cara
you
Mae.
so much.
Of course.
We'll toast to that.
Cheers to farmers.
Alfredo, I was really happy to have had that conversation with Cara Mae. Jerry and I just went to the farmers market a couple days ago, and it's always so impressive the kind of fresh fruits, vegetables, other.
John, I'm going to stop you right there because we got a big equipment being moved right now that's going to maybe make some noise.
Are they building the new
I know you're
farmers market location?
I know you're hard of hearing, so you can't hear it, but I see it. But we're good now. But you're telling me about the number of tomatoes that you're going to buy.
60 pounds, because we're going to be doing some jarring so that we have unlimited pasta sauce available to us for this year. But it's so impressive to see the fresh produce, vegetables, some of the artisan crafts that they have at the market. I applaud Cara Mae and her whole team for putting that on year round.
I just love that it's a farmer's market that serves our community, and it serves tourists too, and chefs. But for me, the fact that you have it in our backyard, John, I think the location's epic. And if you're a council member, I hope you listen to this. Do something to make that permanent, because this is a blessing, right? It's healthier living. There's so many boxes of checks that I think we talked about, John. So I'm excited for her. I think she's the right person to be leading that organization, and it should be here to stay.
We are an ag community, and we should be promoting and supporting our farmers and agriculture. And we're really blessed to have this kind of amazing, fresh, seasonal food available to us.
Why'd you emphasize farmer, John, and look at me? Are you saying I'm not a farmer? You don't need to answer that question, John.
Anyway, it's too loud. I can't hear your question. Cheers.
Cheers.